share with you a few things about Mr. Biden. Okay, Zionist Biden in his own words. My name is Joe Biden and everybody knows I love Israel. Okay, I'm a Zionist and you don't have to be a Jew to be Zionist, he said. This is in 2007. Okay, Biden's stand on Israel is rarely examined, rarely questioned. Everybody knows he's the standard. His, when Biden was the only senator from Delaware, he spoke in 1984 annual conference of the Horutz Zionists of America. Horutz is the forerunner of Israel's right-wing Likud party. Okay, in his speech before the jubilant right-wing pro-Israeli Zionist crowd, in front of the crowd, okay, he said what? There are three myths that propel U.S. policy in the Middle East, which, according to the American senator, are the belief that Saudi Arabia can be a broker for peace. He's saying no to that. So he's saying no to Saudi Arabia. This is 1987. Okay? The belief that King Hussein of Jordan is ready to negotiate peace. And the belief that Palestinian Liberation Organization can deliver a consensus for peace. He is worse than the deal of the century. Okay? He's the standard amongst U.S. politicians of how to be a Zionist. Okay, Biden labored to make connections with the Jewish state, revealing that his son is married to a Jewish woman and that he had participated in Passover. So now there's a competition of families, political families. Is Trump more Jewish? Is his family more Jewish, almost more Jewish, or his family is almost more Jewish? Okay, in front of a packed audience in 2013, he said, "That's why I've worked so hard to make sure Israel keeps its equivalent edge in the midst of the Great Recession. I've served with 8 presidents of the United States of America, and I can assure you, and I assure you, all these 8 presidents were pro-Israel, and he's the one of the most of these pro-Israel. I can assure you unequivocally, no president has done as much to physically secure the state of Israel as President Barack Obama." Brookings Institute, he had a lecture there, he said that the idea of Israel is founded upon a moral obligation. We always talk about Israel from this perspective as if we're doing some favor for them. We're meeting a moral obligation, he says, but it is much more than a moral obligation. It is overwhelmingly in the self-interest of the United States of America to have a secure and democratic friend, a strategic partner like Israel. It is no favor, it is an obligation, it is also a strategic necessity. My name is Joe Biden, and everybody knows I love Israel. Biden began his speech in the 67th annual Israeli independence celebration. He said, "We have to protect each other, as many of you have heard me say before. Were there no Israel, America would have to invent one. We'd have to invent one because you protect our interests like we protect yours." Vice President Biden would not move the American embassy back to Tel Aviv, he said in an interview. He would not do that. And then regarding Bernie Sanders, and those of you that have been following American politics, Bernie Sanders was winning. Bernie Sanders was winning, and then all of a sudden Biden won. We don't know how he won, but those of you that were aware of the process, and if you remember those days, not too long ago, all of a sudden Biden wins, okay? The idea that we withdraw military assistance from Israel, and he's referring to Sanders, Bernie Sanders, the idea that we withdraw military assistance from Israel on the condition that they change a specific policy, I find it to be absolute outrageous, he said. No, I would not condition it, and I think it's a gigantic mistake, and I hope some of my candidates who are running with me for the nomination, I hope they misspoke or they have been taken out of context. Right? He's hoping that much.
A choice between Trump and Biden, the warmongers, the ones who are lusting for war with Russia, will want Biden as president. So in the event that Trump loses the election, the implication of the U.S. elections coming up in November is that in the event that Trump loses the election, we'll now be much closer to nuclear war.